Hello, and welcome to the Active Bystander Awareness Program. My name is Jay Bebb. I'm the Associate Dean of Students, and I'm here to talk to you today about the program, some resources, some tools, and a little bit about our community as well. Ask yourself, have you ever witnessed a situation in which someone needed help, whether it's medical help or a fight was going on or something like that? Did you step in, or did you hesitate, or did you not get involved at all? What bothered you about the situation? Did you feel like it was out of place? Did you just have a gut feeling? What was it that brought it to your attention? And what kept you from doing something if that's in fact the case? If you didn't do it, why? And that's okay. You may have felt unsafe, or you may just not have known what to do. And how did you feel afterwards, whether you got involved or not? If you got involved, did you feel proud of yourself? Did you feel confused and upset? And if you didn't get involved, did you feel like maybe you should have, or just, again, not really sure what was going on? Well, we're going to talk today about being that person who observes something going on and how they can help. First of all, what is a bystander? Well, obviously, a bystander is someone who is witnessing a behavior or an incident or a situation and is not actually a part of it. They're not the victim, they're not the perpetrator, they're not the people engaged in the behavior, they're just observing it going on. And oftentimes, the bystander does nothing. That's understandable. That's the way it works. But what we're encouraging people to be is an active bystander. And what's an active bystander? And that's somebody who sees a situation, assesses it, and knows what to do, has the tools to get help for those people so that the situation is resolved, other people aren't hurt, whether that's emotionally or physically. And why do we focus on bystanders? Well, we don't know who victims are going to be, and we don't know who perpetrators are going to be, but we know who the bystanders are, and that's all of us. We're all going to witness and observe behaviors that are not okay. And so we can focus on that larger group that we know is going to be there, that we can give tools to help our community. And what power do bystanders have? Well, first, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of bystanders. And so we have power in numbers, we have lots of tools, and we're not part of this situation. We're not part of the incident. And so we have a clearer head and we know what resources are available to us on campus. This is a short video put together by some students a few years ago that talks about what it's like to be a saint, an active bystander here on our campus.
At Siena College, we are a community that takes care of one another.
So, let's talk about some important issues. Alcoholism,
Sexual assault,
drug abuse.
Discrimination.
They're real and happen on our campus.
Yes, at Siena College. When you choose Siena, you choose to be a saint.
There is a hero in every saint.
We are a community.
And in our community,
we treat each other with respect.
we care for each other.
We notice if something's wrong.
When we see something that's not okay, we recognize, we report, we prevent.
We transform our values into actions.
We help our fellow saints. We say something, we do something.
We are active bystanders. Be a saint.
Be a saint.
Be a saint.
Be a saint.
Well, I hope that helped to illustrate what our community means to us and what being a saint means to us as well, and that we want you to join us. We're going to talk about some tools here to help you become an active bystander. The 3 Ds: direct, delegate, or distract. And these are 3 tools that you can use to help to intervene or to get help or attach to resources for a person who may need that. The first D being direct. That's taking direct action, getting right involved, telling someone to stop the behavior, helping someone in need, calling someone to come and assist, being directly involved. Delegate, is there someone better to help? And delegating is important because you may not feel safe, or you may not know the people well. It may be something that you're feeling like, I just can't get directly involved here, but I know that there are other great resources on campus. And so that's when to get your CA or your residence director or public safety involved. They can directly help and get that assistance that someone may need. And you've acted well by getting that resource there. And then lastly, distract. And that's not going right in and confronting someone. And what it does is change the subject, involve someone, take a new direction, talk about class or going to lunch, engage in other behavior like let's go play video games, or do you want to watch a movie? Something that changes what direction the particular incident is going and thereby diffuses it and makes it a lot easier. Which one of these might you find most helpful, or you may use all of them, but think about how they might apply to you. Active ethical bystanding can help in a variety of situations. While I mentioned that, I want to say that historically, and the reason we developed our active bystander program originally was to work in the area of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and sexual misconduct. And it was a way to reach out to people to help prevent something before it became a crime, before people got hurt, and reached out in a way that they could get help for somebody attached to those resources. And as the years went by, what we realized, not only is our active bystander program really helpful in those areas of harassment, assault, and misconduct, but it also can apply in a lot of other ways. One, for getting some help for someone who may be intoxicated, or someone who's had had drug issues. Getting help for someone who's depressed, getting them connected with the right resources. Speaking up when someone uses racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic comments, and helping them to understand why that isn't appropriate and why it doesn't happen here at Siena campus, or getting someone else to do that. And then lastly, as I've mentioned, preventing sexual assault, getting help for somebody, getting in the way before something terrible happens. Can you think of other situations? I'm sure I can, and I'm sure you will as time goes on. Again, bystanders in sexual assault, it's been very helpful for us in getting people to work with other people, get help for themselves, advocate for themselves, and make sure that this kind of thing doesn't go on our campus, or certainly helpful get in the way of it happening more than it, anymore. 1 in 5 college women and 1 in 16 college men experience completed or attempted rape. That's a big number. Individuals in the LGBTQ community are 3 times more likely to be victims of sexual violence and or harassment, and they are also less likely to report. Why do you think that is? Is it most likely because they fear being outed, or they fear more violence, or they fear retaliation? Let's remember that this is not just a crime against women. This happens to men and boys and their victims as well. Most assaults are by serial assaulters. I found this a very intense statistic. 90% of campus rapes are committed by only 6% of men. These are serial assaulters. These assaults are typically planned in advance. The victims are targeted and known to the assaulter. And lastly, alcohol is a tool to facilitate. Other drugs do come into play here, but alcohol is by far and away the most common drug that's involved in sexual assault. What would get in the way of you stepping up, you being a part of our active bystander program? Would your decision to step up change if you were using drugs or alcohol? Would you be fearful that you would get in trouble or be charged under the code of conduct if you went to reach out for help for both yourself or someone else because you were using drugs or alcohol? Well, we were concerned about that as well. And because of that, we developed what's called the welfare of the community, or amnesty policy. And that's a way to protect and encourage those active bystanders, people to reach out knowing that they will not be charged under the code of conduct, that they're not going to get in trouble because they've acted in the best interest of our students and our community, because that's our highest priority. And the policy can be applied to alcohol or drug-related incidents, bias-related harassment, incident of sexual assault, or situations of vandalism and damage. Here are some confidential campus resources that you can reach out to get assistance both for yourself or to talk about being a bystander, to get other resources. And this group of people will not report to anyone else. They are confidential. They will not tell anyone else. They will perhaps help you to make a report to someone else, but they themselves were not. It's the Counseling Center, Health Services, the Chaplain's Office, and of course, all of our Franciscan friars. A good group of folks to know and people that can help you. Last, I'd like to also show you some on-campus, important campus resources and allow them to introduce themselves. First, our Title IX office and Health Promotions office.
Hi, I'm Danielle Joyce. I'm the Title IX Associate at Siena College. I work with students on issues pertaining to sexual harassment and sexual assault, and I also work with students on training on these issues.
Hi, I'm Lois Golan. I'm the Title IX Coordinator for Siena College, as well as the EEO Specialist. I oversee all complaints of sexual harassment as well as complaints of bias and discrimination. I work with Danielle Joyce. Our office is in Sarrazin, which is your student union, and we are available either by walking in or texting us or emailing us. More information is on the Siena website as well as in your handbook. Welcome to Siena. We look forward to meeting all of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Kaufman-Burns, and I'm the Director of Health Promotion here at Siena College. I work with students to promote health, safety, and well-being. Your mental, emotional health, your physical health, relationship health, and spiritual health. And I'm very proud and privileged to be able to work with my colleagues from Title IX, Lois and Danielle. If anybody is concerned, passionate about, interested in the issues that you're learning about as it relates to bystander awareness intervention, taking care of one another in ways that matter, please consider also joining the efforts of the Healthy Campus Coalition. You'll learn more about that, but basically we're working on programs and trainings, prevention efforts, outreach and education to help create a more healthy campus climate, one saint at a time. And during the unprecedented times we find ourselves in, we need it now more than ever. We need you more than ever. So good luck with the rest of your training, and know that we are a resource for you, and we wish you well.
Those three people's names are listed on the slide here as well, along with their phone numbers and their email addresses. So if you need to reach out or want to reach out, and they're great folks, I would encourage you to do that. The next important campus resource is our Office of Public Safety, and they have a short message for you as well.
Hi, I'm Ron Matos, the Interim Director of Public Safety.
And I'm Mike Hicks, the Associate Director of Public Safety.
We just wanted to take a second to remind you that public safety is always available as a resource.
You can reach us 24/7 at 518-783-2376.
Thank you, and have a very safe and healthy semester.
Our public safety folks are here 24/7 to help you be a resource, act as a bystander, or if you have questions. Their office is in Heinz Hall, and they are a great opportunity and great people to get to know, not just Mike and Ron, but all the public safety officers. And the last introduction from important campus resources is our Dean of Students office with Dean Michael Papadopoulos.
Welcome to Siena College and the Dean of Students office. I'm Mike Papadopoulos, and I am the Associate Vice President of Student Life and the Dean of Students. The Dean of Students office is here to assist you in acting as an active bystander. Should you have any questions or concerns, we're here to help you. The Dean's office works closely with many other offices across campus, and we want to be a resource for you. We are available by calling 518-783-2328 or by email at one of the addresses listed here. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Dean Papadopoulos.
Well, that was a bit much of me on the screen twice, but Dean Papadopoulos' is email and phone number. My name, John Bebb, J. Bebb, my email address and phone number, and Adam Kassler, who's our Assistant Dean of Students, his name and phone number. We hope that you would reach out to us with questions or anything that you might need. Other private, non-confidential campus resources that are very important to know: your own community assistant, your CA, your residence directors, your saints, very important resource, all faculty, staff, and administrators on campus, the people in the Damietta Center, and the Sister Thea Bowman Center for Women. Those are all great resources on campus, great people to reach out to, in addition to the other offices that we've had introduced here this morning. Now I'd like to introduce some students who are going to talk to us a little bit about their story and how active bystander played into that. I do want to say that this may be emotional for some people that are watching this. And so what I would do is encourage you to turn down your volume for the few moments that the students are speaking, if that's what you need to do. First, I'd like to introduce Olivia.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. My name is Kate Kaufman-Burns, and I'm the Director of Health Promotion here at Siena College.
I'm Olivia O'Hagan. I'm a recent Siena grad from the class of 2020, and I will be returning in the fall to finish my MBA.
We're very grateful to you, Olivia, for being with us. You have a story we all need to hear.
So about a year ago, on July 13th, 2019, I was enjoying a lovely day at an outside bar with my brother and his friends, and I was joined by some of my friends as well. It was a picture-perfect day. We were all just outside at a picnic table. It was just this outdoor bar under a tent type of situation after a long day at the track. So we were out at the picnic tables, enjoying ourselves. I was having some drinks. And then suddenly there was this guy sitting next to me at a picnic table who was saying some things that were making me uncomfortable. So I had tapped my brother's friend and said, "Would you mind switching seats with me? This guy sitting next to me is creeping me out a little bit, to say the least." And he was like, "Oh yeah, of course." So he gets up, he switches seats with me, says some choice words to the guy. He gets up, walks away, and everything seems to be fine. I then proceeded to follow my brother up to the bar. I had left my phone and my purse back at the picnic table with my other brother and his friends, and I followed my brother up to the bar. He had strayed away from me to talk to some of his friends, and within instance, I disappeared. That's the last memory I have for about 3 hours. So my memory's black. The only way I know that I was missing or that people were looking for me is from my brothers. And so when I was met with my brothers about 3 hours later, they were like frantically screaming and yelling, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" And they had seen me leaving the woods, bruising all over my body with some stranger that I've never seen before. So it was at that point that I had known something had happened to me. And I was kind of in a state of panic because I was like, "What are you talking about? I've been here the whole time." I had no memory of ever being gone. So it was from their franticness and the screaming and the yelling and the cops on the scene that I knew something serious had happened. And it was at that point that the authorities got involved, and from there it was out of my hands.
It's such a traumatic experience. I can't imagine how difficult that time was for you. And I imagine that coming back to campus to start your fall semester, your senior year, you probably were thinking about being out with your friends very differently.
Yes, it was like the weeks leading up to school, I was like a nervous wreck. I hadn't gone back out to a bar since that day, and the thought of going back out with my friends was like terrifying to me. But I knew, oh, it's senior year, we're gonna have so much fun, but I definitely had a different perspective on the whole going out. So I know it sounds cliche to say, watch your drinks, but it can happen clearly in front of your eyes that your drink can be drugged. Also, me and my friends came up with a little buddy system where you're just in charge of one person for the night. You go to the bathroom with them, you leave with them if they want to leave, and we kind of designated one person every night to, if someone wants to leave, one person will just leave with you, so that not everybody has to leave and you're just in charge of one person for the night. It's super easy, and really coming up with a plan before we went out helped to really ease my anxiety about it, because I knew if I went out and if I was triggered by something, someone was always going to have my back. I wouldn't have to Uber alone, and everyone else could still enjoy their night. So having a set plan before we went out was really, really important.
And I'm so glad to hear you say that this is, we're training our new students to know about bystander and bystander awareness and bystander intervention and the power that we have when we stand by. And in our community at Siena College, we are a community that takes care of one another, to your point, that has each other's back, that looks out for one another. I wonder, Olivia, with everything that you've been through, if you have words of wisdom or takeaway points for the students who are watching this video about how they may be active bystanders. Maybe it's through direct, interference or involvement, maybe getting somebody else
help if they don't feel they can do it themselves, or providing some kind of distraction to diffuse the situation. Do you have any thoughts about those strategies?
Yeah, so just something very important to keep in mind is that it can happen to anyone at any time, anywhere. So just always being aware of your surroundings. And even if you see something that you don't know if that person's comfortable, or you don't know what the full situation is, if you have a gut feeling that something seems off about it, either you can speak up or you can find someone else to speak up for you, because you'd rather be proven wrong than to have someone go through a traumatic experience. So I think just being aware of the resources that are on campus, and if you don't have the courage to stick up for someone else or even yourself, to find someone who could, because trying to look out for people and help other people on campus is what the Sienna Spirit is all about.
It is, and we think about your story and what you've been through, and how traumatic that was, and to be able to spare somebody that kind of pain and suffering feels like something we're all called to do. And I know you've been working really hard on your recovery and your healing, and I wonder if you have anything you want to share about that. I think journaling has been a big part of your experience.
Yes, journaling has been like the most important part of my experience. It's been pretty cool to look back and be able to see and have it documented how far I've come. So I have a little entry. So on this side, where it's just complete scribbles, was a night that I was out at a bar and I had a triggering experience, and I came back with one of my friends and just scribbled it all down, because I found that having a journal to just have unfiltered thoughts and put it all somewhere has been really helpful. And then my next entry after, the scribbles is, wow, as I just try and reread my last entry, I can't help but to realize how far I've come from that. I'm so proud that I can recognize I will have hard times, but that does not take away from how far I've come.
And there is no better ending to this recording session than that, because you, Olivia, are hope for all of us. Thank you for your courage in sharing your story. And remember, if you're watching this with us, there are people on campus. There are people like Olivia who have been there, who can help you with tips and strategies. There are trainings like the one you're going through now. There are offices that are here to help you, and mentors that want to make sure you do not feel alone in whatever it is that you may experience, witness, or encounter. So, Olivia, thank you for your time and for your story. And until we see you all again, everybody stay safe and look out for one another. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Olivia. That was really helpful, and thank you for taking the time to share that with us. Next, I'd like to introduce Kelsey and Christina, who are going to tell their story.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate from the Office of Health Promotion, and I'm here with two amazing student leaders again to contribute to the bystander awareness and intervention training part of this series. And they have a very important story that they'd like to share, and I will let them introduce themselves before we do that. So Kelsey.
Hi guys, my name is Kelsey. I'm a senior, and last year I was Christina's CA in Plasman Hall. And I'm going to hand it over to Christina to tell her story.
Hi, like they said, I'm Christina. I'm going to be a sophomore, and I'm just sharing a story about a situation last year that I was faced with. It was a very uncomfortable situation with a supervisor at a place of work that's affiliated with campus. And it really put me in a position where I felt very stressed, really confused on what I should do. And luckily, I ran into Kelsey, who was such an active bystander when everyone else, like who was around the situation, was more of a passive bystander. But Kelsey, metaphorically and physically, held my hand throughout the whole process and was really there for me and pointed me to campus resources such as the Office of Health Promotions as well as Title IX. And without Kelsey, I probably would have dealt with the situation in a much worse manner. So I'm very thankful to have her when I needed it. And now I look forward to being a CA this year, where I can hopefully do the same as she did for me. And I challenge you all to really be that active bystander, because you never know who may need it.
And I thank Christina so much for letting me be a part of that process with her, for trusting me with her situation. And just remember, when you're out there, being an active bystander isn't just being right there and in the event or in the moment and standing up. It can be hearing about it. It can be hearing someone say they're fine and not believing them, and ask them again. If they seem not fine, they probably aren't. Be an active bystander, whether you're in the moment or afterwards. It's your responsibility as a saint.
Thank you both for joining us. We hope to see you on campus, so please remember to take care of yourselves and look out for one another.
Thank you, Kelsey and Christina. Thank you, Kate, as well. Some really important messages there, and I hope you got something directly from our own students. Will you be an active bystander? Will you be a part of our community that steps up and worries about the safety of our students and helps people to get the help that they need? 94% of our students say that they have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of other students. 94%, that's great. What will your part be at Siena? What action will you make to take care of yourself and each other? I hope that you learn some tools, some ideas, things that can help you to become an active bystander, some resources so we can help you and your friends to have a successful time here at Siena College. I hope that you have a great rest of your orientation and a great freshman year. Again, welcome to Siena College. Next, we're going to do a couple of short case studies with some ideas where hopefully you can apply the ideas of direct intervention, delegate, or distract. Have a good day.